Megadonor to Democrats has surprise two-word description of Donald Trump. HuffPost. John Morgan said the president-elect has tapped into one key thing. Below are your comments. Trump tapped into the frustration of voters because Congress' two-party system cannot solve the problems people have, form potholes in our roads to affordable housing. George Washington warned us in his farewell speech about the danger of political parties. To fix our country we need to first see more. It didn't take genius to see it. We've just never had a candidate willing to leverage hate and anger into a campaign strategy. Palin scratched the surface in 2008, but McCain oftentimes refuted the rhetoric and neutralized it. Trump took it to a whole new level in 2016. Not really a sign of genius. Team Trump apparently did a thorough analysis of the voting public and identified voting blocks where they could improve his appeal. I don't believe the Democrat election consultants did an effective job at this, and lack of a prima bleep dem chances of offering a viable candidate. You cannot wait for the last 100 days to suddenly announce what you stand for, because voters know it's all fabricated to sway the election and not genuine. We saw Biden run as a centrist in 2020 and govern as a progressive. The country needs honest, genuine candidates and robust primaries. Not expensive consultants trying to manipulate voters at the 11th hour. No, it wasn't genius. Sorry, but it was just who he is. He is all about anger, revenge, personal retribution. He was just being himself, and it so happened that a segment of our population felt the same way. I still remember when California voted for Schwarzenegger. They wanted a savior, and his movie persona was what they voted for. Those who voted for Trump see him as their savior, but he couldn't be less so. Trump is in it for Trump and Trump alone. Maybe genius is too much credit. He did tap into anger. Now the question is anger about what, and will he do anything to calm the anger? Could the anger be due to a deteriorating middle class? If so, will he do anything for working people other than make promises? The U.S. government has one purpose: to do what's best for our nation as a whole. If they'd ask that one question before doing anything, is this best for the nation as a whole, we'd be a lot better off. 45 soon to be 47 is no genius. Stoking anger and populist manipulation of the masses is no more than organized incitement and fraud. Misleading the economically challenged to continue the agenda of the billionaire class monopoly on money supply, keeping the rest of us as wage slaves while the economic gap. When we defeated Germany and Japan in WW2 and became a superpower, there was plenty of mobility and opportunity to succeed. Not so much now. It's still possible, but we as a nation are too accommodating and prostrating to the billionaire class. The billionaire class is not incentivized to realize that long-term stability, crucial for this NTRY to continue as a going concern for their descendants depends on the balance. Cracking down on immigration and itching to deport millions, when it's those same immigrants who help keep our economy alive. Billionaires never have enough, nor the uber millionaires either. While many have worked hard and earned much of it, it's time to pony up more in taxes. In the past, the rich had much higher tax rates and still lived well. America is falling behind because either is not enough investment in our infrastructure and people. The pendulum needs to swing towards more nurturing to save America. 45 as 47 surely won't do this. Public anger is showing in more ways than one. The election of Trump is only one way. Others can be understood about the comments pertaining to police brutality, distrust of Homeland Security and the foreign invasion, punishment of whistleblowers and the praise for the bleeper of ACEO. But then again, the elites in Washington don't care because their pockets are still being filled. A toddler that can swipe an iPad is not a genius. Populism is the iPad we get when 3 generations grow up without a civics class. It doesn't take a genius to see the populist anger, resentment, and grievance in the population that isn't willing to work hard to get their share of the American pie or American dream. MAGA wants to go backward to the 1970s where union membership entitled low-s bleep workers high. The rest of us could no longer afford to pay more for low-quality American-built stuff, thus offshoring. MAGA populists had a choice. Go to trade school if not college material and relocate to where the jobs are. Instead, they stayed in their rotted-out small towns that had always been primarily one employer to NS, and that employer is long gone. 40 years of anger and resentment, and Trump played into it perfectly. The problem is 4 years from now, most of those angry and grievance-filled will still be in the exact same place they are today. Rex Tillerson was correct in his summation after meeting Trump for the first time. He used the same F word, but genius was nor the second one. 45 won 2024 by less than 250,000 votes, Wisconsin by 30, Michigan by 80, and Pennsylvania by 121,000 votes respectively. He got 86 more electoral votes, but had he lost those 3 states, Harris would have had 270 and he 268. Hardly a mandate for him. He didn't even get 50% of the popular vote. He messes up this time, so man, ours will ride the Titanic with him. He tapped into something the Republicans never saw, which was anger and populism on that side. He didn't tap into it. He created it. There is a difference between cleverness and wisdom. Trump is the clever man who knows how to manipulate people, but he is not the wise man who can lead a nation. Wisdom, intelligence, knowledge, and character are the qualities that great leaders in statehood and industry have in common. Cleverness is the cheap quality that produces chaotic results. Obviously, there were enough of the voting public that felt continuing on the path the Democrats had the country on was the wrong direction. Agree or disagree, the results of the election say it all. A greater number of voters want to change the direction the country is headed in, otherwise the incumbent party would have won. Trump took advantage of the gullible MAGA. It was basic branding the emotion of hate, fear and loathing of others. It was just one big ad campaign. That is far different than leadership. The founders expected someone like Trump to come along eventually. What they didn't expect is for Congress and the SC to stand by and let corporations to take over our country. There's a fool born every minute, and the odds on that came true. Trump is not a genius. There is about to be the biggest money grab in U.S. history. And our country will be sold to the highest foreign bidder. Elon Musk was lent $1.4 billion by the Chinese government for Tesla. You think that comes for free? The fact so many people take Trump's clearly fake populist rhetoric seriously is why we're in this mess. Trump did not tap into anything. Angry is the way he is himself. While praising his father, he is deeply disturbed and enraged at what his father did to him. That's the subconscious part. But it is what we see in him, this rage at the authorities. And it is the same wavelength of the people who are enraged with the corruption in politics. Sadly though, Trump is not only angry, which resonates with the people, Trump is corruption himself. It didn't take any genius on his part for Trump to recognize the virulent racism in the GOP following the election of Barack Obama. Ever the opportunist, Trump took his lead from the Tea Party and rode anti-Obama birtherism into the Republican 2016 GOP nomination and the presidency. There should be no such thing as a donor class. The word genius is thrown around too easily, just like hero. Trump is a consummate performer, and knows how to stage manage just about everything. He can tell this various crowds exactly what they want to hear. He can tune into his crowds and move them like an orchestra conductor. His fervent supporters don't care if he lies. They consider him a brilliant businessman and a total victim. And in opposition, a totally inept democratic apparatus that is tone deaf and doesn't know how to put together a coherent message. And Trump has some very influential media companies that magnify his message. Genius? There are many different words I can think of, but genius is not one of them. Our nation is in trouble, but neither party seems capable of uniting all the people so they can respond to the great challenges that we now face. Trump is no genius. He made lots of promises in his first term, the border wall that Mexico would pay for, lol. Repeal Obamacare and have new healthcare plan that never happened. Infrastructure that never happened. He managed to pull off trillions of dollars in tax cuts that benefited corporations and the very rich. Now he's got the richest man in the world, Musk, working on his side. What do you think he wants from Trump? Lol, he just makes a lot of promises. Mass deportation. Bring grocery prices down. Drill baby drill. We already are the biggest producer of oil in the world. Just a few that he won't deliver on. Now he is downplaying his promises. Just recently he said, it's going to be hard to bring prices down. Lol. The biggest con in the history of cons. Good luck getting anything from this con man. That's not a genius. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.